Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. Great to be here with you today. Excited to dig right in to our community's questions. On the weekends, if you're new to the show, I answer our community's questions that come in over the past 1 or 2 months. So they're all answered in the order they come in. Usually we're 6 to 7 weeks behind on those questions coming in. But of course, they're simply answered in the order they come in. Answer 6 questions today, 6 questions tomorrow. So every weekend we answer a dozen questions, and always the caveat is that I don't do any research on them. I don't look them up. What I do is I read them for the very first time, as if you came up to me at a conference, a seminar, speech, whatever it might be, and you said, hey, what about this, and this? And I give you my honest opinion of where you could look for a second opinion, how to get to the root cause, and it's essentially off the cuff. All right. So I want you to know it's a good place to start. And that is always the goal. And of course, it's based on 20 plus years and hundreds of thousands of client appointments. So hopefully you're ready to go. I know I am. If you want to read along with the questions, I'm opening it up right now. You can go to stephencabral.com/2045 for all of today's questions. All right. So what are we looking at here? The first question is from our friend Tahlia. Tahlia says, Dr. Ball, thank you so much for providing such a truly life-changing resource. I'm hoping you can help point me in the right direction. I looked through previous podcasts, and I don't believe you've ever spoken about idiopathic hypersomnia before. I had to laugh when I asked my sleep specialist, who just diagnosed me with it, what it meant, and he said excessive daytime sleepiness with no known cause. He was sure the other specialists I had been referred to would find an underlying chronic condition that would explain this and my other chronic fatigue symptoms, but nobody did. Over the years, I've managed to improve my symptoms and come off all medication, including modafinil, which was specifically prescribed for the hypersomnia to keep me alert during the day. I've come a long way, but I haven't seen any further improvement for quite some time. I'll never stop learning and growing, but symptoms currently have far too big an impact on how I spend my time. I was wondering if you might have come across this disorder before or any information to share about it. A huge thank you in advance for taking the time out of your life to answer this and all other questions that get asked. Okay, Tahlia, happy to help. It is always hilarious. And when you're a part of the Cabral Concept community, it is great because when you get diagnosed with things like IBS and your physician says, oh, that's irritable bowel syndrome, and you came in with bloating, gas, loose stool, constipation, et cetera, and you're like, I came all this way and paid all this money with my insurance for you to tell me I have irritable bowels. I know I have irritable bowels, right? So someone who diagnoses you with hypersomnia, okay, you have excessive daytime sleepiness. You're tired during the day. What was the diagnosis exactly? Because I'm confused. I already knew I was tired during the day. When I had Addison's disease and chronic fatigue and all these things, I didn't need to be told I was tired. Right? I was exhausted. Here's the thing. None of those diagnoses matter too much, to be honest with you, unless you're looking to take pharmaceutical drugs, and then they can give you pharmaceutical drugs that do absolutely nothing except mask the symptoms that you are suffering from. What you want to get to is the root cause. It does not sound like you have run any at-home functional medicine lab tests. That is where we need to start. There's always an answer. So you might be low thyroid, you might be low cortisol output, might be low epinephrine output, you could have massive inflammation from gut-based issues. So the bottom line is this: run the Big Five. Go to stephencabral.com/Big Five. You'll find those. If that doesn't work for you, you could run the starter kit, but you have to start somewhere, right? You can run the hormones test. You can go to stephencabral.com/labs. I'm using that URL from now on going forward only because it's easier, honestly. People have already been my website, typically a bunch. So you can just go to stephencabral.com/labs, and those are all the labs I recommend. Tahlia, that's where we need to start, right? I mean, because we need to figure out what the underlying issue is. You've been already dealing with this for so long. You've been doing great improvement, but we need to get you better, okay? Anonymous is up next. Hello, Dr. Brawl. Thank you for answering our questions in your house calls every weekend and for providing the IHP health coaching courses. You have positively changed my life. What causes a person to smell like mothballs? I encountered a man at the grocery store who overwhelmingly smelled like mothballs. I could smell him from 15 feet away. I also noticed one of my older relatives smelled like mothballs when they were talking to me at the end of the evening after they had been quietly watching TV and not talking or opening their mouth for an hour. I think both people had mothball breath. Is there also mothball body odor, and does it have a different cause? Thank you, Anonymous. Okay. I know exactly what you're talking about, right? It's one of those things like, unfortunately, I know exactly what you're talking about, but it's just a normal human symptom, right, of something that's imbalanced. So first things first, not breath-wise, but first things first. Some people, especially like my grandparents back in the day, kept clothes in a cedar closet and it had mothballs or had a mothball closet. If you keep your clothes with mothballs so that the mothballs keep away the moths, your clothes are going to smell like mothballs. Now, I'm sure you already looked at that part, which is, again, just me having a little fun. But yeah, the smell of mothballs is not good. It's pretty toxic. It's pretty gross, actually, if you're smelling for the mothballs. Now, the mouth mothball smell is different, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, and older people sometimes have that mothball smell to their breath. Why would that be? One of the reasons is this: dehydration and overaccumulation of aerobic bacteria around the gums and in the mouth. Dehydrated mouth, just like you said, mouth closed, bacteria fermenting, starts to smell. One of them is mothballs, not always. So it's only one reason, but it's one of the big reasons that I've seen. Water, hydrate. A lot of older people lose that sense of smell and taste to a large degree, and they're not as hydrated. Have them drink mineral water, add a little bit of lime, a little bit of sea salt to it. It will help with the uptake of that water. Swish it around a little bit in the mouth if they want to get all that water in there. And they'll be doing much better. So that's just one. Happy to answer any follow-ups. Eve's up next. Hello. I had the virus. We're just calling it the virus in February 2021. I had it very bad after 4 days. I lost my sense of taste and smell. Very strange experience. I counted, and on my 29th day, I started to smell a little and taste a little, but still on and off every day. Now we are in July 2021, and since July 12th, everything I smell is either gasoline, nail polish, or bleach-like. When I step outside, take a breath of fresh air, it smells like nail polish. I cannot eat garlic, onions, ginger without vomiting because it tastes like bleach. Cucumbers, spinach, green beans. I can write a list of almost all veggies and fruit that smells like bleach. Switch toothpaste 4 times. Feel like I'm washing my dishes with gasoline. Smell toxic water. I'm 32, female, healthy. Thank you. Okay, so let's get to the bottom of this. For everybody, I'm going to give you a link right here. Let's go to StephenCabral.com. Then let's go to the podcast page. Then let's swipe through the graphics at the top, whether you're on mobile or desktop, it's all the same. And I keep clicking on the digestion, but it's the virus one I want to get to. Okay, latest virus updates. All right. So this is all my virus podcasts. I no longer going to do them due to censorship. It took me 7 months to get my Instagram account back. Unfortunately, as they say, the juice is not worth the squeeze. It's the one topic I can't really talk on, but I've really said my piece. Not much has changed. Let's see. Episode 1873. So if you go to StephenCabral.com/1873, talks about COVID tongue, loss of taste and smell, and other viral abnormalities. All right. So that's going to answer your question for the most part. And if those nutrients that I talk about don't help, I would 100% run a gut test. Go to StephenCabral.com/labs, and I would run the bacteria and parasite stool test as well as the Candida metabolic and vitamins test to see if when you got this virus that it didn't disturb your gut bacteria, because it can. All right. So those are my 2 recommendations: the vitamins and minerals I talk about on that show, 1873, as well as the labs if it does not subside after another 3 weeks. Okay. Our friend Angela is up next. Dear Dr. Rawl, you mentioned the importance of eating and sleeping with the sun to help with digestion and sleep. However, what do people in Alaska do when they have endless day or minimal daylight periods? What about people who work the graveyard shifts? Another example of altered schedules is in Europe. they tend to eat and drink and sleep much later than Americans. I know many American countries take an afternoon siesta. Could that be their secret? They seem much healthier than Americans in general. Mahalo, Angela. Oh, mahalo. Okay, well, happy to answer all of these. And I basically do. On all my podcasts, I've answered these questions, but I'm happy to answer them as well. So endless day, right? Endless daylight, Alaska, Iceland, other places, Greenland. What do? Well, you do room darkening blinds and shades. So that's an easy one. When it's time for bed, I have room darkening blinds. Much to my wife's dismay, she likes the light. I don't want any light. I track all my sleep. When it's dark, I sleep better. Better deep sleep, better REM. It's better for the human body, produce more melatonin. All right, so that's easy. Dark room, right? Get rid of all the blue light. Room darkening, shades, drapes, blinds, whatever you'd like to use. And then what about people who work the graveyard shift? Well, it's just not ideal, right? It's not ideal. So for those people, unfortunately, if they do that their whole life, they typically don't live as long. I don't love that, of course, but it is the truth, and I'm here to speak the truth. So the best that they can do is this. When it is time for them to go to bed, 8 in the morning, let's say, until, what would that be, 4 in the afternoon? Let's just say that's the timeline that they use for their 8 hours. Well, they need to create a dark atmosphere. That's what they need to do. They need to literally change their circadian rhythm, which is not good, their diurnal rhythm, but at least it will get them into a dark room, darkening blinds, shades, get right in there. Time for bed. Still don't eat a couple hours before bed. Europeans, I wouldn't say, yes, younger Europeans, some people, and especially the weekends, they can eat later at night. Yeah, 7, 8 o'clock for sure. Sometimes later, don't get me wrong. But they still don't go to bed at 1 a.m. typically. Yeah, younger for sure. I mean, all of my relatives came from the Mediterranean. Same with my wife's. Portugal, Europe, Azores, etc. And yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. When you're doing a community meal, it's later, but that's not always traditional either. And they don't live a whole lot longer. Now, traditional societies that went to bed with normal circadian rhythms, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, with the darkness, they lived longer. So I think it's a little bit of a misnomer there. And does an afternoon siesta help? Yes. If you can take a little nap, 20, 30 minutes, up to 40 minutes. I have a whole podcast on napping before 2 p.m. Then it calms the sympathetic nervous system, which calms stress levels, which helps with inflammation, and certainly helps all of those things. So hopefully that was helpful, Angela. Good questions. Evan's up next. How long does H. pylori normally take to get rid of when treating naturally? Is it okay to have some gluten and alcohol during treatment? Also, do you typically look for H. pylori numbers to be low or be 0? Yeah, great question. So we don't treat anything. I always have to give the disclaimer. We don't treat, we don't diagnose, we don't cure any disease. That's conventional medicine. Anything to do with natural health, we help you rebalance the body. So in this case, we're helping you rebalance your stomach mucosa. I like to give 8 weeks, sometimes gone in 4. I like to do 8. Okay. So typically we're doing the CBO protocol plus the citricidal plus mastic gum. And the mastic gum is for 8 weeks upon waking before bed. And then the citricidal is for 3 weeks, 5 drops twice a day, week 1. 3 drops twice a day, week 1, 4 drops twice a day, week 2, 5 drops twice a day, week 3. Upon waking before bed with your other supplements, okay? So that's what we do. And we like the number to be 0, but sometimes low, right? But we like it to be 0. So we look on the bacteria and parasite stool test for it to be a negative, okay? And again, that bacteria and parasite stool test is at stevencabral.com/labs. Gabriel is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. It could be Gabrielle. Let's find out who this individual is. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I was enjoying your podcast with Organic Olivia when a comment about circulation sparked this question. I'm a 25-year-old woman who eats clean and exercises a few times a week, though it could be more consistent. In the past few years, I've noticed issues with my circulation. For example, lifting an arm away from my body for more than 10 seconds is uncomfortable. And if I sit in a certain position for a while, my legs will start to tingle. Whenever I get my blood pressure tested, the doctor, the comments are that it's low but healthy, 100/62. 99/61, 90/50. I have brain fog daily. Was diagnosed with ADD a few years back, but have had attention issues since a child. I don't take medication. The side effects aren't worth it for me. Your comment about bad circulation prohibiting blood from reaching the brain struck me as I have a family history of dementia. What can I do to improve my circulation and to make my limbs more comfortable and hopefully brain as well? Okay, Gabrielle, let's help you here. All right, so here's what we want to do. You most likely have lowered metabolic rate in terms of lower thyroid. I think it's this, but again, I'm not giving you a diagnosis. Even if you only read one lab, this is what I would run. I would run the stress, hormones, mood, and metabolism test. Again, that's at stephencabral.com/labs. All the labs are right there that I recommend. That's what I would do because I want to look at your cortisol levels. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone could be low. DHEA could be low. Thyroid could be low. Cortisol could even be low. Cortisol is probably low with blood pressure numbers like that. I would love to run that lab with you. I mean, even if you only did one, that would be it. Stress hormones, mood, and metabolism. If you do two more, I would run the minerals and metals test and the Candida metabolic and vitamins test. All right, that's what I would do. Figure out what's going on here. Your blood pressure, for me personally, would be a little bit too low. Because there's not going to be as much pumping and force of the blood through the body that could lead to some of the issues you're dealing with. You could have methylation issues. You could have low B vitamins. All of the labs I just recommended to you are going to test all your vitamin levels, all your mineral levels, and all your hormones. So for sure, those are what I would run. Then you're not going to guess anymore. Neither will I, because you'll have a lab based on your unique numbers, and then you can get a plan that's unique for you. So hopefully that was helpful. Great questions today. Thank you so much. I'm going to be answering 6 more of our community's questions. Tune on in tomorrow at stephencabral.com/podcast. Take care, everyone. Have an amazing rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. And as always, I appreciate you. I thank you so much for your support of the Cabral concept. And as a valued listener, I want to make sure you are always aware of what we have going on over at Equilife. Equilife is the company that I started, that I formulate for, and it is based on my clinical practice in Boston, Massachusetts. So for many years, I had a very large active practice that saw about 20,000 people per year, over 250,000 people. Well, we continue that to this day, except that we are now doing it virtually. This allows us to help people all over the world with all of their wellness, weight loss, or anti-aging based needs. And when we're able to, I always love to be able to share with you some of my favorite products that are for you completely free. And so this is going to be absolutely no different this week. What we love to be able to do is share with people also that we support everyone with every different diet type. That could be keto, that could be low carb, high carb, it could be vegan, it could be paleo, Mediterranean, etc. So our job is to simply allow you to better understand your own body. But all of our products, except for just about 3 or 4, and we have over 100 products, they're all formulated to be vegan, and for the most part, completely plant-based. There are a few exceptions, with one of those being adrenal energy, as well as the omega-3 support. But for the most part, like I said, all of our products are completely vegan and plant-based, so everyone can enjoy. Well, we have a vitamin D3 product that is capsule-based, that is formulated from the top form of vitamin D3 out there, that's easy to absorb, and I would love to be able to give you a bottle completely free. All bottles are free this week on qualifying orders over $129. Yes, this includes international orders as well. And you can get a free bottle, vegan vitamin D3, highly absorbable, the best vitamin D3 out there, and it is yours free on qualifying purchases over $129. You can head on over to stephencabral.com/D3 for this special offer. Take care, everyone.